Hey, what's up? This is Kenichi Learns Code, and this is another tutorial. Today we're going to be looking at user notifications. It's the new framework for presenting notifications in iOS 10. Quick look at what we're going to be making. This is just the demo app, and I hit this button, close the app, and then we get, in 5 seconds, we get a notification. Yeah. And if you look at the notification, it says Pop Quiz Hotshot. That's the title, subtitle, and then if you open it, we get these actions. Who makes the best iOS tutorials in Swift? Kenichi Learns Code, my grandma, get a clue. If we hit Kenichi Learns Code, opens up the app, you are correct. This is what we're going to be making today, so without further ado, let's get down and get started. First thing we're going to do is open up Xcode, and create a new project, and it's going to be a single view application. I'm going to call this iOS 10 rich notifications tutorial. Next, I'm gonna go ahead and put this in my tutorials folder, hit create, and boom, there we go. We've got this project. I'm gonna go open the storyboard, and the first thing we're gonna do is we're just gonna put a button in the middle of the screen. This button is for us to be able to trigger the notification, because obviously when you make your own app, you're going to trigger it on different events. We're just going to trigger it on this action. So I'm going to go ahead and put some auto layout constraints to make sure this stays in the center of the screen. Center horizontally, center vertically. I'm going to change this. Title. Schedule. Can't type today. Schedule notification. And then we are going to hook this up to our view controller, and we're just going to control. I should actually, hold on, let me turn on sticky keys so you guys can see exactly what I'm doing. Sticky keys. All right, cool. Back to it. All right, so first thing we're going to do is hit control, drag, create. We're going to create an action, and we don't need any arguments in this, so just change it to none. Change it to UI button. I'm going to call this schedule. Schedule notification. Hit enter. Now in this action, we're just going to go ahead and schedule the notification. But before we do that, we're going to head over to the app delegate, and the first step that you need to take if you're going to be using notifications is to register, to request authorization from the user to actually show them notifications. So in order to do that, we need to open up our app delegate, and we have this function here, did finish launching with options. But before we can add anything, we have to import the user notifications framework, user notifications. And then once that is imported, we can go here, and we need to, this is what we do. We do un user notification center.current.request authorization. And in the options, you have to specify which things you want to request authorizations to do. So we are going to do .alert, .sound, and .badge. That just means that we can show alerts, we can play a sound for those alerts, and we can show a badge on the app icon on the home screen. Completion handler is basically we get the completion handlers of the form bool error. So if you want to actually do something with the result of this call, you do this and then just type granted, which is the bool, and error in. So what that means is that here you can handle the error if there is one, or do something with the fact that they either said yes or said no. You can set some kind of, so you could do if granted. Why is it not coming up? If granted, should work, right? Yeah. So you can do something with the result of that call. But for this, for the purposes of this tutorial, we are not going to do anything with that. My keyboard is a bit messed up, so bear with me. We are just gonna request it, and so what happens if you request it? In fact, let me go down, delete that. I'm gonna run this in the simulator quickly so you can see what happens. Yeah, And there we go. So the first thing we get is this question, iOS 10 rich notifications tutorial would like to send you notifications, and the user can either accept or allow or don't allow. And obviously this would be the bool that is so-called granted. And we're just gonna hit allow, but I'm gonna close this because we need to get back to coding. So now that we've requested authorization from the user, the next thing we want to go ahead and do is send our notification. So what we're going to do is here, when the user, or when we hit the button, we're going to send a notification. So I think it's really straightforward with this new framework. What we do is do let content equal UN. Oh, sorry, I have to import user notifications. Let content equal UN notification no, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for UN mutable, sorry. Mutable notification content, and then we hit content dot title equals, and for this tutorial we're gonna create a small quiz. It's gonna be a question. So for this we're gonna put, as we put before, pop quiz, exclamation mark, subtitle, content dot subtitle equals I don't know, let's see how smart you are. And I need to move my mic, sorry. Content dot body, this is the body of the notification, equals, and these are all just string literals that you assign to these. So we're gonna put how many, why can I not type, countries are there in Africa? Oh, sorry. And then we're gonna add a badge to this notification. So when the user receives the notification, and this goes without saying, this is local notifications I'm talking about right now. And we're gonna do badge equals 1. So that means that this notification puts a badge on the app icon of 1, regardless of what the app icon badge may have been before that. And then we're also gonna give this an identifier. We will need this later. Category identifier. No, sorry, we can't do that yet. My bad, we'll come back to that. So essentially what this does is this creates the notification. This is the actual content of the notification, but it's not enough to just do that. What we need to do is also to create 2 more things. We need to create a trigger and a request. A trigger specifies what are the conditions that will force this notification to fire. And it's easy if I just show you one. So we'll just do let trigger equal and we're going to use a time interval. There's several different triggers. I would suggest you read the documentation because there's so many of them and you can use different ones for different things. But for this tutorial, we're going to use this one, which is time interval notification trigger. And with this, it's very straightforward. You just specify the time interval, how long you want to elapse before this notification fires, and whether you want it to repeat or not. So we're going to put 5 seconds and true. Then you also have to create your request, and in order to create a request you need an identifier, and then once you've done that you use the things we've created before. So we do let request identifier equal let's call this Africa quiz, and then let request equal UN notification request. My keyboard's messed up. Request, and it's the second one we want. And identifier is going to be request identifier. Content is going to be our content, and the trigger is going to be our trigger. And there we have it. We've created our notification, and to schedule it, all we have to do is get the UN user notification center dot current dot I think it's add request, and then you just do request. There we go. And completion handler. Do we want some actions to be completed when this notification is fired? But for this tutorial, we're just going to say nil. And really, you could actually, as before, you could do it like this. And then I think for this, it's just error. So error in, and then let's add a little comment here. Handle error. So yeah, this will fire a notification. So let's run this again and see what happens. Hopefully it works. All right, so if we hit this button, close the app, and yeah, we should get a notification. Yep, pop quiz, let's see how smart you are. How many countries are there in Africa? But we don't have any actions here, and really it's not a quiz unless we have some kind of response input. Additionally, one of the cool things about iOS 10 and these rich notifications, why is it firing twice? Oh, I put repeats true. Mistake. All right, so one of the things about iOS 10 is that you can also handle, this is going to keep going forever. Let me quit this. You can also handle notifications in app, and in order to do that, it's very simple. It's only a couple of lines of code. You have to adopt a protocol, which is the UN User Notification Center Delegate Protocol, which we're going to do down here at the bottom of this file. Extension. I like to put all my protocols and stuff in extensions. So do extension view controller, UN User Notification Center Delegate. And there's two methods in this. Only one of them is compulsory, I think. And the one you need to present the notification in app is where is it? User will present. It's this one. So it's user notification center. Center will present notification, so on and so forth. And literally, in order to present the notification in app, all you have to do is call the completion handler and specify which things do you want to display in app. So we're going to put the alert and the sound, and it really is as straightforward as that. So now if the sorry, I'm lying, it's not as straightforward as that. You also have to set yourself as a delegate for the notification center. So we can do that over in view did load over here. You do UN user notification center dot current dot delegate equals self, and yeah. So now what happens is, I'm not going to run this again because my laptop is really slow, but if I run this, what will happen is if the notification fires while the app is open, then we still get to see that notification. If you don't want to see the notification, you want to do something else, all you're going to do is just here, you just write some other code, some other way of handling notification, which is pretty cool. I will run it now so you guys can see. Oh, this thing's still firing. It's going to keep going on forever. Is it? Oh. Okay. Let's hope that's stopped. Has it stopped? No. It's going to go on forever. All right. So clearly this is a tutorial that shows you something that you definitely don't want to do. You don't want to have repeats on true unless you're going to handle that somehow. And all right, we're gonna quickly do something. I don't know if this is gonna work because this is the old way of doing it. Shared dot cancel all notifications. Is this gonna work? Yeah, it was deprecated, but it's fine. Hopefully that's gonna work. All right, cool. So hopefully that should have cancelled all the notifications. We shouldn't still be getting them. Clear. Yep. All right, cool. All right, so I'm gonna close this now, and we are gonna stop that and delete this line. And so now, if we run this, we should be able to hit the schedule notifications button, and in app we should still view the notification. Yeah, there we go. There's a notification. So the next step for us now is to add our action. It's quite similar to iOS 9. You have actions and you have categories. And the reason for that is because the categories are groups, and so perhaps you want a specific set of actions to be presented for different notifications. So you have to think of it in that sense. So each category has a group of actions, and that category can be used for a specific purpose. So we're gonna just make one for this tutorial, but obviously in the future you can make as many as you want. And obviously we have a question, so we're gonna let's put the first one. So let's put something like 2 answers, right? So we're gonna put let answer 1 equal sorry, sun is too bright on my screen, I can't see. Alright, so yeah, let answer 1 equal UN notification action identifier. We're gonna call it what should we call it? Answer 1. Yeah, that makes sense. Answer 1. Title is gonna be how many countries are there in Africa? Let's put 29. And the action options, here you can specify how you want the action to be handled. And if I just hit dot, you can see authentication required, and here's the information about what that does. Destructive, that's the information about what it does. But for this, we're going to use foreground, which means when the user hits that action, it's going to open up the app. And when it opens up the app, we can handle some kind of, we can do something to present to the user. So for this, we're going to put foreground. And then let answer 2 equal UN notification action identifier answer 2 title 55 options. We're going to put exactly the same as before, foreground. And then we have to create let's make another one. Let's make one more. Let clue equal UN notification action identifier clue title get a clue ... and exactly the same as before foreground. Cool. And then now we need to make the category. So let we'll call this quiz category equal UN notification. Oh, keyboard is not working. Category and identifier string. Category needs a string as well. It needs an identifier. Sorry. Quiz category actions. We put the actions we created. Answer 1, answer 2, and clue. This we're just gonna leave without anything in it. That's for SiriKit. We're not dealing with that in this tutorial. And options, we are gonna put what are we gonna put for options? Nothing. We're gonna put nothing for the options. We don't need those right now. And yeah, once you've done that, you just have to get the UN notification center again, current, and you register. Is it register? No, it's not register. What is it? Set notification category. Sorry, category. So yeah, obviously you could put several here. We're just gonna put just the one, quiz category. And yeah, that sets up our category. So now when we have a notification, actually no, not quite yet. We have to also set the category identifier for the notification. Category identifier. What did we call it? We called it quiz category, right? Quiz category. So now when this notification comes up, we're gonna have actions. We're gonna have 2 actions or 3 actions. I can't remember how we did 3 actions, right? We're gonna have 3 actions we can choose, but the actions are useless unless they actually do something. So quickly, what I'm gonna do is, if you saw in the demo, we had a couple of cool images. I'm gonna grab those. I'm gonna put an image view in here. Yeah, and I'm gonna tie this with vertical spacing, and then we're gonna tie this to the view, leading, trailing, vertical spacing to bottom, enter. Then we're gonna go over to the constraints, trailing space 0, leading space 0, bottom space 0, top space we're gonna leave at 8. We're gonna change the content mode to aspect fit, and we also need to create an outlet into our view controller for this. And so again, we just hit control and we'll just put image view. Cool. And then we can put this and open up the view controller. Okay, so now there's a second method in UN user notification center delegate that allows us to handle actions, and that is it's not coming up. All right, user notification did receive response. All right, so in this you get the response, and you also, you just get the response of the actions. But we can handle anything by simply let me quickly look at my notes. So all we have to do is we can use an if-else statement, or we can use switch. We're going to use switch, so we'll do switch on response, and the response has a action identifier, so we're going to switch on that. And we had, what did we have? We had case 29, right? And in this we're going to do something. Well, there's not 29 countries in Africa, so we are gonna image view dot image equals, my mind is not working today. I forgot to put the images into the project, so quickly open this, and these are the images. Drag and drop these in. This one is the one for the wrong answer. Change the name. Wrong. Oh, I want it to be capital. Oh, sticky keys. Wrong. And where's this other image? It's this one. This is correct. And then we are going to go back to the view controller image equals UI image named, and 29 is wrong as far as I know. I don't think there's 29 countries in Africa. Case 55 image view dot image equals UI image named correct. There are 55 countries in Africa. And then we're going to do case clue, I think we called it. Let's put an alert on the screen to give the user a clue. Let alert equals UI alert controller. I really do need to fix my keyboard. There you go. Title, hint, message. There are. What should we put as a clue? Africa has a large amount of, that doesn't really help as a clue, does it? But it's a tutorial, so let's just put basically the answer. The answer is greater than 29. That is not a very good clue, but who cares? And we'll just put default. Oh no, sorry, we have to put alert. Yeah, cool. And then whenever you have an alert, you have to give an action to it, so otherwise you can't dismiss it. The action equal UI alert action. Title. Thanks. Default handler nil. Cool. Alert dot add action and present view controller alert animated true completion nil. Okay, so what this is going to do is if the user gets the right answer, we're going to give them this correct image. If they get the wrong answer, we're going to give them incorrect image, and if they ask for a clue, we're going to present a clue on the screen. What is this complaining about? We did not exhaust all the options, so we have to default break. And yeah, that should work. So I think that actually is everything in the tutorial. Let's run it. and see what happens. All right, let's hit this schedule. Let's close it and run it in the background. And here we go. Let's see how smart you are, how many countries there are in Africa. Pull down. Oh, 29 or 55. Let's hit 29. And nothing happened. Why did nothing happen? I'm so stupid. So this is the reason why it's not working. Answer 1, answer 2, clue. So here we go. Answer. See, I wasn't joking when I said my mind was not working. Answer 1, answer 2, and clue. All right, so now this should work. The completion handler bit you don't actually need, but you should put it because the compiler complains if you don't. Hit this, close it. I definitely think it's gonna work this time. Well, all right, 29. Sorry, wrong answer. And like an idiot, I went and changed the thing to center when it should be aspect fit. And let's run it again and try and pick a different answer. This time we're gonna let the notification fire while we're still in the app and see if we can handle the actions then as well. Schedule notification. There you go. How many countries in Africa? 55. You are correct. And quick, I just want to show you if we. Oh, let me close this. Did I press the button? My laptop is struggling right now because I'm running quite a few different things. Alright, let's close this and reopen it. Alright, schedule notification. I want to lock the screen as well. Lock. Alright, let's see what it looks like on a lock screen. Alright, pop quiz. How many countries are in Africa? Slide, view. Let's try this one. We haven't done this one. Get a clue. The answer is greater than 29. And that is the tutorial, guys. I'm going to put this on GitHub and put the link in the page in the description box of this video. So go ahead and download the code or whatever and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. This is actually just part 1 of a 3-part video. In part 2, I'm going to be going through how to add content extension to your notification so you can actually have images in it. And in part 3, we're going to be looking at remote notifications. So yeah, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and thanks for watching. Hopefully this has been of some use to you, and hopefully it will help you in your future coding. So peace out.